Good morning, buenos dias. My name is Dennis Pure, and I am a teacher here. I am the lucky individual to be working here at Emerson Elementary. Before then, I was a school-age child care director at a settlement house in Westtown, Humboldt Park. I was there for about 15 years. I'm truly honored today to partner with you this morning. I hope to not only share some suggestions that I've learned along my life's journey, but also hope that we can learn from each other. I'll be sharing an online form for you to add your ideas, and then we'll share them through social media, Facebook, upcoming newsletters. We'll insert all of your ideas about at-home remote learning tips, and we'll be sharing this slideshow with you also. First up, one thing I always like to do, my first suggestion is take a few deep breaths and reflect on where your child is at developmentally. So here is a chart. Developmental stages, you think of them like children grow and change. They change as they grow, they learn. One of our goals is to move them towards independence and being responsible. So it's important that we recognize different developmental stages. Example, if you look at 8-year-olds, 8-year-olds love to talk, they love to explain things. So at home and remote learning, it's definitely important that we all add in some time for them to do just that. Beginning or end of the day, give them some time to explain things, talk it out. They also tend to be full of energy, so we need short breaks for them throughout the day. ChicagoRun.org has a great website with some 4-minute videos. If you want to get up and moving, some teachers use that. And also don't forget, when they don't seem to be paying attention, we need to recognize that this can be or might be just developmentally appropriate at this stage in their life. So when you get a chance, look for your child's age, and then look before, look after, see what are some of the behaviors, socially, physically, cognitively, where they're at, and see how you can adapt at-home learning for them. We'll also be sharing some brochures from Responsive Classroom that go into more detail about these developmental stages. We'll also share them with you in Spanish on the slideshow link. One thing I learned a long time ago is discipline versus punishment. So when we're doing at-home learning, we want to, again, think about discipline and some words that are synonymous: structure, order, routine. So we want to build in any structures, any routines that we can for our child to help them along the way. Again, if we think about life's journey, we're gradually trying to get them to that point that they're independent and are on their own. So when we're doing at-home learning, we want to think of any structures. Another thing we want to remember is that children love to observe us. They love to look and see if we're looking at them. Sometimes it's good to say, hey, I observed you, and then mention to them the thing that you observed them doing. Likewise, teachers during the first 6 weeks of school, we micro model. We will model how to move a chair, how to sit in a chair, how to pass things across the room. We want to set up our children for success. And then when we see them doing that, we say, oh, I observe you. So one tip at home is to think about those behaviors or your expectations for at-home learning, and then spend a few minutes to just model exactly how you want them to go, and then point out to your child when you see them doing those behaviors, recognize those behaviors. Another thing to think about is they look to us. So if your child's reading, think about grabbing your favorite newspaper or magazine. Show them that you love to read, having a basket of books around, setting the tone, talk about the different times that you read. If they're reading, make sure the environment they're in is conducive for reading. Here again is something you might want to model. These are different tips for sitting in a chair. A friend of mine shared these with me. She has 3 children, and some of them had some issues, and she thought these techniques would help them. So I'm passing them along. Here's my friend Helen's house. She shared some photos with me. These are her 3 children. And here's some quick tips. If you have to use the dining room table, as Helen is doing, Have a basket or a caddy with all the supplies nearby so that you can transition it to dinner time, lunchtime. Having charts and logs. Helen puts up a chart at each child's station. She has headphones so that they can work together. She has 3 children. And then she has charts with all the codes and the passwords, and they're handy and they're right there for them. Another tip is to have a clipboard and lots of scratch paper so that if they're working on something, they could jot a note, or if the teacher gives out a code, they can jot it down. Or if they need your help and you're someplace else in the house, they might be able to grab that clipboard and go ask you a question. Helen set up this charging station. She used some letter trays and she plugs in all the kids' iPads, phones, and devices like that. Another helpful hint is while they're at home doing remote learning, have them put their phone, if they have one, or if they have another tablet, put it someplace else. Sometimes, just like we as adults might be scanning 2 devices at once, and that can be very distracting. Helen also made these great dividers, but she also included her children in making those dividers. Again, this is all new to a lot of us. Sharing with you Khan Academy, we might, as adults, have to learn things to help support our children along the way. I'm just sharing with you that Khan Academy might be a website that you both might have to sit down together if a child is having difficulty. It's just a resource there, and we know Seesaw is a resource. In the link that I'm sharing, there is a video about Seesaw if you want to check that out. In case you didn't know, Seesaw will automatically translate correspondence from teachers into a multitude of language, over 20 different languages. And again, there is some things about Seesaw. Another helpful hint is how we speak to a child, because again, we're modeling for them, and we might want to be adding some very specific things like, you did a great job because, and then a child will say, oh, that is the expected behavior, and it helps reinforce that behavior. A few more quick ideas here. Again, checklist, having some points throughout the day that your child can check off items that they're working on. Again, developmentally, if it's a younger child, adding some symbols so that they can see that. If a child is proud of something, tell them, hey, take a screenshot of that. I would love to see it later on. Especially 8, 9-year-olds, they want to impress their adults, they want to impress their caregivers, their grandparents. They can show you things they've done in Seesaw. Encourage them to collect items that they'd like to show you at the end of the day when you're done with your work, and then you can celebrate their success. Another thing is you might want to shape certain behaviors that your child is doing, okay? They call this in behavioral psychology. And if we think about a way to shape behaviors, I'm going to show you another picture. This is my amazing nephew. He spent the last 7 months with me, and he's sitting there in my kitchen. And I noticed that he is addicted to his phone. So you'll see a photo there of some envelopes. One has a triangle, a star, and is what I did. I told him, snap some pictures of a paper that you're writing. He was doing SAT prep. He'll be 17 next week. And when he showed me a few items, he got to pick an envelope. We did these random envelopes. Inside one of them was, hey, we're going to go practice driving. He loves to go practice driving. Another one had a coupon where he can get an app from the Apple Store. Another one allowed him to make a small purchase on Amazon. Another website is wheelofnames.com. You can insert prizes or things that you like. Maybe you want to shape a behavior. For example, the behavior you might want to shape is getting work done by 3 o'clock. So you might say, hey, every day you get your work done by 3 o'clock. If you do that 2 or 3 days in a row, on Wednesday you can spin the wheel. And the prize might be something like you get to pick out the movie that we're going to watch on Friday night, or you get to pick a topping. We're going to make homemade pizzas. Help your child build networks. Some children are having get-together times on Zoom. They're corresponding with fellow classmates. If they have difficulty, of course, they can always message the teacher, we're here. Sometimes it's good to build up those relationships, especially during remote learning when children need to developmentally communicate and play with their peers. Some kids are actually having play dates on Zoom where they'll be building Legos together. Okay, again, this is part of helping them during the learning time during the day that they can look forward to these other experiences. Again, we talked a little bit about the beginning and the end of the day. Here are some questions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can ask your child about how their day went. Developmentally, children love to know that we are paying attention to them. They love to share with us at most of those ages, 6, 7, 8. There are some ages where they like to test us, and we'll recognize that and we will address that. But many of the times they love to be asked questions about their day. If all else fails and you're struggling with remote learning, sometimes, besides adding in some jokes or some humor, is tell a child a quick story. Many children, there have been days in the classroom, things aren't going well. Hey, I want to tell you a story. You can hear a pin drop. Children love stories. Tip, go on to Epic, make up a story and weave in a theme or a message that you want integrated into your house, be it kindness, cooperation, or pull a book that reinforces that message. And then when times get tough, say, hey, remember that story? I've done this with my family. We make up stories and we come back to them all the time to reinforce ideas at home. So again, there's a link that's going to be shared with you. It'll be in the link. Please, please share ideas. I would love to hear what you have. And then we'll share those out because we are in this together and we will be stronger together. Thank you so much for your time.